Hello, everybody. So today we're going to be talking about the case of Christmas Doe. This is a Jane Doe case about a child, so there is a trigger warning. If you're somebody who's not able to really listen to cases about children, probably don't listen to this one. It is incredibly sad. But of course, I want to talk about it because this has been unsolved for a while, all the way to the 80s. And I think it's important that we talk about cold cases because sometimes it just takes passing their name around again for something to happen. So that is why I want to talk about her today. All the links that I used for research will be down below. There's also a link to a case suggestions form if there's anything you would like me to talk about specifically. And we're going to go ahead and get into this. So I do want to say briefly, there's not very many photos because this is a Jane Doe case. There is like an AI generated image of her, like NCMEC. They made one, and then there's like not like a sculpture, but you'll see it when I get to it. So there's no like actual photos of her. There is a photo of what she was wearing. The photos aren't the best quality when I was looking at them, so I do apologize. And I have a photo of like the general area where she was found. I was not able to find the exact area, but like what it would have looked like. I believe it's like in the same like block or the same road. So that is what I have for you. So apologies about the lack of photos. Hopefully you guys understand. So let's finally get into it now that I'm like 2 minutes just blabbering. So on December 21st, 1988, a trucker was hauling lumber when he pulled to the side of Georgia Road 82, close to Forks Road and Duncan Bridge near Waycross, Georgia, and he was going to relieve himself. He stopped near an isolated garbage dump and saw an old TV console nailed shut with plywood. Out of curiosity, he kicked it, and it broke open to reveal a black metal suitcase. This was suspicious enough for him to contact police, which good. Officers arrived on the scene, including Detective Herbert Bond, and Detective Arnie Heron Jr. They noticed that the suitcase was wrapped in silver duct tape and a plastic sheet. The suitcase contained a duffel bag, but it was filled with cement. Inside of the gym bag, wrapped in a brown baby blanket, was the body of a little girl. The truck driver broke down once it hit him exactly what had been in that TV console. And I don't blame him. Like, he sees this, he's just relieving himself on the side of the road. He sees this weird TV console nailed shut. Like, that's kind of weird. And he kicks it open, not realizing that there is the body of a child inside. I would absolutely lose my shit too. I can't imagine just how traumatizing that has to be to know that you stumbled across the body of a child. So, her Doe nickname was given to her because she was found 4 days before Christmas. She was an African American toddler between the ages of 2 to 4, with black hair that was pulled into a ponytail or pigtails with multicolored bows, but her eye color was unable to be determined. She was around 2 foot 8 and 3 foot 1, and she weighed about 23 to 31 pounds. Now, I'm not a mom. I'm not familiar with the weight of children, but if she's 2 to 4 years old, I kind of feel like is 28 to 31 pounds a little bit thin. I don't know. You guys let me know. They're obviously not like giant humans or anything. That she is a toddler, but I feel like if she's like closer to 3 or 4, shouldn't she be way more than 31 pounds? Or am I wrong? Let me know down below. That's what I was thinking when I saw that. So I don't want to make any comments like, oh, maybe she was like being starved or something, because I obviously don't know, and I don't know if that's like the appropriate weight for a child around that age. So just let me know down below. So. She was wearing a white knit thermal shirt with a red or pink pony emblem on the upper left corner, white thermal pajama bottoms with a maroon trim on the bottom of the pant leg, and a diaper. Her ears were likely pierced, although they could only tell that her right ear was pierced, and she wasn't wearing earrings at the time. There was a slight gap between some of her baby teeth. The detective said that she seemed to have been well cared for, despite how she was dumped in the trash. And that's why I kind of said like I didn't want to like say has she been like starved or something, because when I saw those numbers, I feel like that was low for a child. But I'm not that familiar with the weight of children, and they're saying that she seems to be well cared for. But just because a child has decent clothes on and stuff doesn't mean that they're actually being well cared for. You know what I'm saying? So I was just asking y'all that. And also, she had been well cared for. Well cared for. I don't think she would have been killed and put in the trash, but that is what they said. It's estimated that she had been deceased between 1 to 2 months, and due to her state of decomposition, her cause of death was unable to be determined. I think we can kind of understand that she's probably murdered because children don't just end up in the trash, in a gym bag, in a TV console, nailed shut. There were no signs of abuse or neglect on her remains, and it's likely foul play is involved, like I said. So Waycross is a small town of around 13,300 people, and 55% of its residents is African American. Around 37% of residents have incomes below the poverty line, and child poverty rate is about 60%. And that kind of gives us an idea about the life that she would have had. Police would go door to door asking about her, and sadly, no one knew who she was. Which, it could be that she's just not from Waycross and that area and they don't know who she is, or it could be that people just didn't want to speak up because it is a smaller town. Smaller towns mean that people usually know each other, or they know of each other. Word gets out, and maybe people are covering up for someone. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that that could explain why supposedly, no one knew who she was or had heard about her. So leads for this case have been few and far between, and there is not much information out there about the investigative work. In 2009, the GBI got a lead that connected the TV console to Albany, Georgia, and the police got in touch with their local NBC station to run a story about Christmas dough on the news to ask for any leads. In 2010, GBI they said that anonymous tip had been submitted, and that her name might have been Bridget, and that her family might have lived in Tifton, Georgia. Nothing else has materialized since then, and the case is cold. Many theories have been proposed that she was Kimberly Boyd, but that has been ruled out. It's also likely her death was caused by her family, and that's why no one has come forward. Detective Heron worked on this case into his retirement, and he would pass away in 2015. All these years later, and she is still unidentified. So, if you have any information, these are going to be the numbers, and there's quite a few of them, so just hang with me. So, for the GBI, Case Agent Dale Wiley, his number is 912-389-4103. Again, Case Agent Dale Wiley for the GBI, 912-389-4103, or you can go to www.gbi.georgia.gov. And then the number for NECMEC, 1-800-843-5678. And then the Ware County Sheriff's Office, 912-287-4326. The Ware County Coroner's Office, 912-283-3030. Again, NECMEC, 1-800-843-5678. Ware County Sheriff's Office, 912-287-4326. Ware County Coroner's Office, 912-283-3030. And that is all the information I have for you guys about Christmas dough. It's so sad because, Detective Heron, he worked this case basically for the rest of his life because it mattered that much to him, and he passed away, not knowing her name, not knowing what happened to her. And, it's been over 30 years now, and we still don't know her name, and that is just absolutely ridiculous. But I hope that hopefully we can get some word out there. Other true crime channels will talk about this, and something will come up. It has to eventually. It's just one of those things that might take time. But let me know your thoughts down below. Please be respectful, like I always ask. But thank you so much for listening to the story of Christmas Doe, and I will talk to you guys again very soon. Bye, guys.